chance, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we need a motion to open our regular meeting and at the same time go into our pause of the regular, well, just open the regular meeting first, we'll make it easier. Okay, I'll make that motion. Okay, McKelly, a second?
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And we need a motion to
Go to the special public hearing.
yes, to,
We continue public hearing.
yes. And,
Second as well.
and Member Hefnecker, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Terry, do you want to read into the record?
I did it, right? That did you-
Yeah, they already did it, so.
Oh, that's right, it was
It's a
already done.
continuation.
There's a continuation. Okay, good.
Hold on a
So,
minute, I'm just missing
just
Keith.
before I give my whole spiel, is there anybody here for the public hearing on 573 Route 17? Let the record show no one is here for the public hearing. So, Dave, do we have anything was supposed to be in for that,
For the, well,
for the
they've,
public hearing?
they have resubmitted some revised plans, which we went through. We had some comments. I can go through, I guess, some of the new ones that I see here that we had. They did make some revision to the curb. There's a structural curb that's shown on the plan. I still had some concerns about it. It was comment number 5 in my review letter.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, the note says, comment says the proposed structural curb is shown to have areas with a 30-inch drop over 18 inches. This will likely be too steep for slope stabilization because they show on that structural curb detail like an earthen surface
Yeah.
on it. Plan should address areas of structural curb with steep slopes. So, I mean, they may have to make that just one piece of concrete maybe to stabilize that. Comment number 6, the structural curb detail should include the timber guide rail as proposed because there is a guide rail shown on the plan. We just wanted that to be reflected in the curb detail. I did have comment number 8. We've talked about this before, and I'm not sure if we had a resolution on it, but this had to do with the traffic impact study and the crash analysis. I think there was supposed to be input from John Canning as it related to the crash analysis. I do know we talked about the DOT permit at the last meeting and the fact that as thus far the DOT has not made any indication about a turning lane that was needed. And we were advising the applicant that if there were if DOT during the permitting process had advised that the turning lane was needed, they were going to have to come back to the board. I know that there was a comment from John about a crash analysis. I don't remember if we got a response on it.
I seem to remember he sent something over on that, but Terry's looking.
I think he said that he was reading the DOT to indicate there was nothing that was needed.
No, I think he said that was more done by Cumberland too. That was where there were more, that's something along those lines.
That's
That's right.
from John.
But, yeah, so you're right, it says please be accurate to date.
You're just saying it's a letter.
Because I know the initial review did include, it was a traffic impact study. He did review it, he commented on it, but I think he had asked about a crash analysis. I didn't remember seeing a response on it. Because it wasn't, the crash analysis wasn't included in the original submission of the traffic impact statement.
Right, you're saying John asked about it?
Yes.
I have a call into him on another application. I can ask about that.
Yeah, we can find out.
So, okay, so I mean, we can keep going through. There was a few
Yep.
other new things, a couple things. They did provide a stormwater maintenance agreement. So they had here, let me just see the. So comment E, 9E, per Village Code 168-7B, the Village of Monroe is authorized to require a bond for the operation and maintenance of all stormwater management and erosion control facilities. The planning board should consider if a maintenance bond should be required for this project. We note that the stormwater management facility maintenance agreement does not provide a maintenance bond unless there is a violation of the maintenance agreement. That's the way that was drafted by the applicant and submitted.
So if you decide we want a maintenance bond, which I think is probably a good idea. Okay, is that it?
We just reviewed, we went through and reiterated the comments that the Orange County Department of Planning had under their GML 239 review. Basically, we just summarized the comments, and then at the end of that, we indicated that based upon what was submitted, we believe the applicant has adequately addressed all of the Orange County Department of Planning comments. And then I just go on, the application is subject to the architectural review. They previously provided renderings and material samples, although I don't believe the board reviewed all of those. And then with regards to SECRA, they've provided previously a short EAF form, and the board has not yet made a determination of significance on the environmental review.
Okay. Did you mention the Speedies permit?
I believe that's a condition of the approval.
With the approval?
Yes, 9A. The proposed disturbance is 1.23 acres. The applicant will need to obtain coverage under a Speedy's general permit for stormwater discharge from construction activity. So that should be a condition of any approval granted by the planning board. Yeah, I mean, I just went through the ones I think that were new.
Yep, I got you. Okay. Liz?
Just from a procedural standpoint at this point, at our last meeting, we had discussed with the applicant keeping the public hearing open until today to allow John Canning to opine on the email exchange regarding specifically the left turn lane analysis. John concurred with the email thread that was submitted by Mike Morganti. So in that respect, I'm comfortable unless, Dave, you disagree. Closing the public hearing. I think the other items are small items for discussion for the board. But I think we're in a position to close the public hearing if there's no further public comment. Terry, did you receive any written comment?
Okay.
David, just a quick question. The fire truck setup, did they give you a drawing for that? Is that all cleared up?
Well, we had gone through this, I
They
believe. This
removed
was
a space.
Yes, and that was requested by the fire chief. They made the modifications, and the fire chief confirmed that they had adequate room for outrigging and for turning movements around the building.
Okay, so you received that.
They removed a space. My one comment to the removal of the space was.
That was an open comment from October 28th.
Yep, no, in the recent plans, they took off a parallel spot. The only thing I'm going to add, which can be a condition,
Okay.
is that the area that they remove be striped so that nobody's tempted to tack on, which is an easy fix.
And we did get the DEC certification
It's the
for the
flag.
wetlands.
Yep, that's dated March 19th. That's on the plan. So that was flagged and then validated by New York State DEC. So they still have to get a wetlands permit, and their approval would be subject to receiving that permit. But DEC has signed off on the location and delineation of the wetlands. So part of our approval would be conditioned on that permit, receiving that permit, but they do have that initial step for our purposes for seeker review and knowing where the location of the wetlands are.
Okay. You know, it's still interesting. You're talking about, and I've mentioned this before, Michael, you've been here, almost 24,000 square feet of new office space. New office space. I look at the malls around 17M. There are many empty offices, many empty buildings. Do we actually need more office space in the village of Monroe?
We seem to have this conversation every time I come here, and it's at the purview of the applicant. It's permitted use. They feel that this is what they want to propose.
Speak into the phone.
I am. I don't think it's on.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's on. It's on.
I don't think it's on.
It's not on.
Just speak close to it, Mike. Say.
So this applicant, it's a permitted use by right. This applicant wants to propose this
No,
particular.
I understand you've done everything by the books. I'm not questioning that. Again, it's a developer's risk we're talking about here.
Correct.
Does he have tenants already? Is there going to be an anchor store or an anchor office?
I don't think it's that type of a building to have like an anchor use to it. It's just an office building, and I'm presuming that the applicant has done their research and feels that they can market this and they can rent the spaces.
So he's just going to have the 24 offices, and hopefully someone comes in and uses it. Need to be lawyer's office, accountant's offices.
Sure, whatever it would be, right.
Mike, just so you have a copy, I apologize that it's so late.
Anything else from anybody? All right, we need a motion to close the public hearing.
Make the motion.
Barb? Fred? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, so we move into the regular meeting. We need a motion to open the regular meeting again.
I'll make that motion.
And second? All. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 573. Okay. So Dave, did you have any other newer things, or you want to point out?
I think the only other thing that I saw on my list was that, along with that stormwater maintenance agreement, they provided a map that was included as Schedule A. I was thinking that I believe they need to provide a meets and bounds description to accompany the maintenance agreement, because
Right.
it gets filed in the county clerk's office. So I believe that is a requirement. If someone can tell me otherwise, it's okay. And then we talked about the bond before, maintenance bond.
Right, so we need to decide, and was there a cost analysis for the, or who comes up with the cost for the maintenance bond?
So, well,
There's two bonds.
Right,
There's
the ones, the performance.
there's the construction bond,
Mhm.
which you do have the cost estimates were submitted,
we do.
right?
Yes.
And that's for the construction. And then once the construction is concluded, this is just for your stormwater, it's not for other
Right.
on-site. It's
Mhm.
just for stormwater is what's provided is a maintenance bond or some sort of security for that.
Right, so do we have a number for that, or is the village board?
So what would happen is, we would make a recommendation to the village board to
Right.
accept the estimate as the bond amount for the cost of the improvements. And then the separate question has to do with the maintenance of the stormwater. And Mike, just correct me if I'm wrong, but as I read the maintenance agreement, as I understand it, they were acknowledging in the agreement the village's right to maintain the facilities should the applicant, the owner, not do so properly. And they would back charge the owner by way of taxes. And if that became an issue, it was acknowledged that the village could then require that the owner post a bond for future maintenance. But I guess that's the question, is that sufficient, or should a maintenance bond be included as part of the original agreement?
Yeah, I mean, my own feeling is, I think it should be included because, we've had issues already in the past with a number of projects that we'd have to go back and chase people down to get them. So I think that it's a good policy to have it, so. Did you give Mike, did you give a cost estimate for the performance for the construction?
For the construction, yes. For the operation and maintenance of the stormwater system, no.
No. Okay. So,
But I mean, that's a value I think that Dave and I could probably come to agreement on. I mean, I'm sure we'll have no
and
problem
then we'll
doing
present
that.
it to the village.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we have the other one already in hand, right?
So we have the
Construction?
estimate.
The
Yeah.
estimate, right. Okay. And then you concur with that, Dave?
I'll just double check it. I believe we had looked at it before and had no issues with it, but I'll double
Okay.
check the estimate.
All right, then we'll forward that to the village board.
So, Mr. Chair, the, just items I have outstanding for discussion purposes, not that I need materials, but that I need discussion and direction from the board. One are your architectural review. I just, so we don't have the issue again, we have, I see here in my notes from June, we have signage that should be addressed in any resolution. And then just, we had a fairly lengthy discussion about the landscaping plan, and I just want to confirm that the board is comfortable with the landscaping plan as presented. Subject to those conversations, we would be in a position for you to authorize me to prepare a negative declaration and a draft for your consideration at our next meeting.
Right, so we're gonna just take a look here and bring it up real quick. We're gonna bring it up as soon as Terry can work her magic. Right, is this the part that doesn't really exist?
Yeah, I think that does.
Yes, that's correct.
It looked pretty though.
Mike, can you just, I hate to say this, I don't want to incur more costs, but can you tell them to just get rid of the thing that's not going to be on the site? It's very pretty.
I'll make a note of
I think we did say that, right? We did last
it.
time.
I feel like we talked about it, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to attach that rendering to whatever approval I do, and if there's stuff on the rendering that's not on the site plan,
Mike, where would the landscape plan be? Is it?
It'll be on the site plan, so if you open up the latest site plan package I gave you, it'll be in the back over there. So 1, 2, 3, fourth one down from the top, 573 New York State Route 17M. And then scroll down, landscaping will probably be, I don't know, sheet 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that range, keep going. There it is, right to it.
Yeah. And this is in the parking lot in the spots. So yeah, we discussed this, at some length anyway, last time. Anybody have any additions or questions or?
and just to be clear, there's after the gray line, that's wet, so that's why there's no landscaping there, right, Mike?
Anything that way.
Mhm.
So that's all shrubbery, like kind of where those spots are, those trees? Or
It's trees with shrubs mixed in.
plowing nightmare.
Good thing you're not plowing.
I know. Whatever the guy does. You can't just go straight down.
Well, they will down the center aisle.
I'm sure he'll
Back out every
They'll put the
single one.
blade in each parking
Oh,
spot and they'll pull
yeah,
it back
listen.
and then.
I'm sure he'll charge appropriately. Okay, any thoughts? So, all right, Liz, I think you can draft a neg deck.
Okay. And Mike, you caught my earlier comment, just the one parking space, if there's not lines on it, people will
Yes.
just see a row of cars and go, oh, I can park here.
Yeah,
That's a pretty easy fix.
I put stars around at that comment this time.
Mike, did you give the material, remember somehow those materials vanished?
I think you had asked if we could resubmit everything prior to final signing of the plans, and that's our intention to do that.
Well, we want it before we
So they lost the materials, so we have to give them a new set of materials for the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll make sure you have it for the next meeting.
Perfect. All right, is that it? Anything else? You're good, Liz, Dave?
I'm good.
I think we're good on that one.
Good enough. Thanks for your time tonight.
Yep,
Merry
thank you.
Christmas. Happy
Yes,
New
Merry
Year's.
Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Okay, next up, we have 105 Ramapo, accessory apartment. Okay, Joel, see ya. Yep, come on up. And just state your name for us and
Vincent Feeney,
spell the last name.
F-I-N-I.
Mr.
I'm speaking on behalf of my mother and my father, Vincenzo and Fiorella Feeney.
Okay. And
Mr.
do you have a
Feeney.
background in anything, engineering,
I am the contractor,
the contractor?
yes.
Okay.
Mr. Feeney, I'm just going to give you, those are my comments.
Thank you.
I'll give you mine also if I don't have them.
So, Dave, I'm going to turn to you first to go through your comments, and then Liz can follow, and then we'll all jump in.
Okay. I mean, there are quite a number here that are kind of lengthy. I can go through them one by one if you like, or just kind of hit high points.
Yeah, probably the most significant ones, and I'm sure he can read the rest.
So I guess the first one, the application has included a land use determination form. However, it appears that a determination is still forthcoming from the building department. So I
That's
think yeah.
changed.
Oh, that's changed.
We did get it signed.
Oh, good. Okay, all right. I didn't have that when we did the
Solved.
review. Okay.
Solved, it came in late, but we accepted it because that was not the applicant's.
Okay.
Perfect.
So the number of conditions as an accessory apartment, which I believe they meet for the most part. So let's go to item G. Each dwelling unit in the structure shall contain its own separate and private bathroom and kitchen wholly within each dwelling unit. The structure in which the accessory apartment is located shall have only one front entrance and only one entrance from any other facade of the structure. An entrance leading to a foyer with entrances leading from the foyer to the two dwelling units will be acceptable. The plan indicates a proposed egress door on the rear side of the building. From the proposed plans, it is unclear if the structure will meet this requirement. We recommend just providing a plan showing the location of all entrances existing and proposed. Okay?
Okay.
Let's see, K, L. Okay, number 3. Okay, upon approval from the planning board, full compliance with Chapter 158 rental property shall be completed prior to occupancy of the new accessory apartment. This should be noted in any resolution of approval. So again, if we get to the point where the project is approved, the full compliance with Chapter 158 needs to be memorialized. Number 4, and I think this might be probably the most important, most critical comment that I have. So the land use determination form indicates that the existing lot has an area of 37,548.72 square feet. Per Village Code 200-24.1, this size of the lot would permit a maximum floor area ratio of 0.09, which would permit a maximum gross floor area of 3,379.38 square feet. The land use determination form indicates the floor area of the building to be 4,376 square feet. Any expansion will require an area variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals. So that has to do with the village code, which maximizes the floor area ratio based on the property size. So I guess the first question is, is the square footage that was shown in the land use form correct? And that square footage, did that include the addition, or is that the current existing square footage?
No, it's probably includes the
The
addition.
4,300?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm assuming does that include patio areas also?
So
or-
it's
Just
the
living.
floor area within the walls.
Inside.
Including the walls. So it's the exterior walls in.
So that's probably incorrect, honestly.
There was a little bit of confusion because I looked up
Yeah.
on but your property card, and this isn't a you fault, your property card, the numbers, the math didn't math, as they say. So the property card was a little bit off. So I would have your architect,
I think it's incorrect, correct,
Yeah.
yeah. There's no way it's a 4,000 square foot dwelling.
Addition.
There's no way.
I looked at it and I went, now,
I mean, they bought it,
do you have a
about
finished
eight-
basement in that property?
There was when we purchased the house 8 years ago.
Okay. Just, get together with your, what I would suggest is get together with your architects, because there are some sizing dimensional requirements that we either had questions on because of the discrepancies in the property card, and we're relying solely on, we're relying on that form, that land use form that we got. And then there's just a couple where effectively we need you to work with the architect to show us the math and hoping that it complies. So floor area was one, and I don't want to.
I mean, scaling the drawing though that was submitted, the survey, and having the addition superimposed on it, but exclusive of the addition, scaling that, it was still roughly, I forget the exact number, but something around 3,400 square feet,
Okay.
which would be essentially
Right there.
pretty much the limit of what the floor area ratio allows.
But is that including, again, like the patio areas?
No, just the
house.
building, yeah,
the
just the building.
Okay.
And doesn't include the basement either, and I guess if the basement is finished, I'm not sure if
It
that
was,
counts.
when we purchased, I'm not sure
Yeah.
if it was included in the finished square footage or not, honestly.
Yeah.
It was, my parents had to purchase the house quickly because my father has Parkinson's, he's wheelchair bound. We had to do a ramp addition to it. It was all done very quickly, unfortunately. So we just purchased the house as is.
Okay.
And went with it. And we actually had to come to the board also to get the, I guess, variance for the ramp area that we did addition about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Again, everything was moved so quickly, and
Right,
there's a lot of, I guess, gray areas in it still, so.
so.
So is it a finished basement now?
We don't use it as a finished basement, it's storage. There's tiles down there and there's a bathroom. When we first purchased the house, it looked like there was rooms down there, but everything is storage. We don't use the rooms because there's tiny windows down there, it does not make sense. Whoever previously had the home may have used it as living area, we did not, we don't. It's mainly storage, and there was, at one point, looked like a second kitchen in there, but we don't use that. It's just my father and my mother living in the house.
So I think if the intent is not to have, if the issue is square footage, and I have to look up, I'm gonna pull the definition of how the floor area ratio is calculated, I think it's finished basements. If your intention is not to utilize the basement, give me 1 second, I wanna speak from a place of knowledge. Ron, since you're here, it says livable floor area within an attic, basement, or enclosed porches. Is that the same, does that include habitable?
I have Brian's letter here, and he has the existing dwelling contains a first floor area of 2,232 square feet, finished rec room at 2,000 square feet, porch covered at 144 square feet, adds together 4,376 square feet.
Like the
Which
rec-
now makes it pre-existing non-conforming due to
Okay,
currently exceeding FAR.
let me just, give me one.
Like
I'm
the
gonna-
rec room, what is that considered? What area of the house?
The rec is your the rec's your
The
finished
basement.
basement, yep.
Which is honestly not livable space, it's just an area.
I know,
Like,
but.
you know, there's no
it-
egress
it's-
really. There's tiny windows and a stairway going up from the main part of the house and another stairway going into the garage, which is now the ramp area. So my parents do not use that area for living space. It's just primarily storage. And it happens to be a bathroom down there because it was previously there when we purchased the house. You know, my mother's not doing the stairs, and my father can't do the stairs, so.
The lot size was 37,000 change.
Yeah, I'm trying to,
Doing your
Con-
math
I'm-
over there?
I'm trying to confirm, because if the basement, assuming the basement is, and I don't want to speak, Ron's here, he can, assuming the basement is not on the table because, you know, what does the applicant need to do to the basement to get it, you know, off the table, you know, i.e. take it from habitable
Right,
space
what makes
to-
it living space?
Yeah. And often that involves, you know, if it means you taking out a kitchen, may solve that problem. But I'm gonna defer to Ron, but I just wanna double check the code so I don't give you bad,
And he pulled everything off of the tax card,
right?
you know,
I think if you just disconnect your stove.
There is no stove.
Right,
No
I'm
stove,
just saying.
just a sink.
No, it's more
No,
than
no.
that, but, lots of people disconnect.
No
So a
stoves, no
livable
gas
floor,
lines.
livable floor area is all spaces
Be
within.
electric.
All spaces within the exterior walls of a dwelling unit exclusive of unheated garage, unenclosed breezeways, unenclosed porches, and non-habitable space as defined by the New York State Building Code, contained within basements as defined herein. Livable floor area shall include all spaces not otherwise excluded above, such as principal rooms, utility rooms, bathrooms, all closets, and hallways opening directly onto any room within the dwelling unit, stairways, and the attic having a clear height of 7.5 feet or more from finished floor level to rafter. That's not an issue here. And then livable floor area shall also mean habitable floor area. So that answers my question. So,
Liz, is this special permit?
yes,
So on a special permit, if they moved out and someone wanted to use that next space again, this comes up all again.
correct.
So then you can ask all those questions at the next one as well.
Correct. And that would also give you an opportunity for the building inspector to go in and say, hey, the
Gotta
last
do
guy
this.
got it because,
Right.
because they undid their basement. You can't have it
Right.
both ways.
There's a covenant that gets filed as part of the accessory apartment
Right.
requirements that any future owner that buys the property is subject to the same, you know, to the covenant that if they want to continue to use an accessory apartment.
Right, they gotta come back here. Mhm. So, I mean, that could solve that.
So there, again, I think you got to get together with the architects. There was one other dimensional standard that was potentially an issue, may not be an issue, but I just need to see the math. That was standard H under the special permit standards, which provides, any additions shall not increase the habitable, not physical, but habitable of the original house by more than 800 square feet beyond its size on the effective date of this section. And the rest of it goes on to say accessory apartments shall clearly be incidental and subordinate to. I think it is. It's just, again, the physical footprint of the addition is 961. I just need to see the math because
Right.
things get deducted from that.
Right, and what's the square footage of the basement?
About
It's listed
2,000.
as
About
2,000.
Minus, well, it's smaller than that because two of the rooms have no windows. That's why it's a gray area. There's two rooms that were divided originally that we use as storage now that
Yeah.
have no windows, it's just.
No, and we obviously see the need, so that's not even it. I'm just,
Habitable
Right.
living
we're just
space.
going to get the calculation to see what
Okay.
it looks like, that's all. So, Dave, if that were removed, I'm not doing the math, I wasn't following the math there. I have my own numbers here, but, so if the basement wasn't included right now, and we had the 961, that's below the threshold?
Well, a couple things. I'm looking, Elizabeth and I right now are looking at the definition. They have a definition for habitable space, which I think is
It says
separate.
habitable floor area, so that's livable floor area, habitable
Right,
floor area.
and so the section that we were looking at for the accessory apartment, is it referring to habitable space or habitable floor area? I'm trying to remember.
I haven't, because I copied it verbatim, habitable space.
So the accessory apartment's referring to habitable space as opposed to habitable floor area, right?
Yeah, because the closets wouldn't be included, right? They have floor area.
Right, is it the section H that you were just reading?
Yep,
So it's referring to habitable space?
yep. I
Okay.
copied and pasted.
So the habitable space is defined as space occupied by one or more persons for living, sleeping, eating, or cooking. Restaurants for employees and occupants, kitchens serving them, and kitchenettes shall not be deemed to be habitable space.
That's
So-
where you go to the building
So I
inspector.
think potentially, it sounds to me like that excludes things like closets, maybe hallways, I
Yeah,
guess,
stairwells.
right, stairwells.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interpretation for the building inspector to provide a determination, because there are multiple definitions under the code that we have to just reconcile. And ultimately, the building department is the first arbiter of the code in that regard. There may still be an issue. Again, I think that's why we have to get together with the architects to get to confirm the numbers.
Yeah, I think what we want to.
And then we know if it needs.
Right, so so we're saying there's gotta be an interpretation for the building department to determine whether that's habitable space in the basement.
Well, I anticipate that it is habitable space, but that it could be made not habitable space for purposes of potentially achieving, that's a question for the architect. I don't want to
So then
say,
we don't want to refer to the zoning board yet then.
they have to get together with their
Yeah.
architect to confirm those numbers. Once they can confirm those numbers, we can make a determination, yes, it's in compliance, or no, it's not.
Right. So Vincent, are you following all this?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what you just need to do on that front. And then if it works out and you can not make it or unmake it habitable space, right? If it's a minor thing or whatever, then you don't have to go to the zoning board for a variance.
Yep.
Would then just lengthen the
Right.
time.
But the,
Be something simple, just taking the bathroom out, and now it's not habitable.
I don't think that's what would do it, because, right?
well, I just want to be clear that the other part of it, though, is also that the maximum gross floor area based on the floor area ratio is 3,379. So that's an important number as well. So, and again, the definition for that is somewhat different from habitable space. The habitable space issue is that you can't increase the space by more than 800 square feet. But the other part is floor area ratio, and the total based on lot size can't exceed 3,379. Anything over that is going to require a variance. I think that your architect needs to get probably with the building inspector and go through these are the square footages that we have, and find out, based on the habitable space determination and the total, if you can avoid the need for a variance, then so be it. But if you need to get a variance, then
Then you go.
this board needs to know it.
Okay.
Did you have any other?
And then obviously the other comments that we had, and then we kind of, we stopped, I guess, at number 3, but, or number 4. Should provide a location map on the site plan. There was a section on here, I had on here, Elizabeth, number 6, I was citing Village Code 200-72I1B, which goes through all the requirements for site plans. Some of the elements might not be pertinent, like we were asking for contours because it's on the Village Code. I don't know if there's a provision for waiving such.
Yeah, I would
I
think.
did not have a chance to get to that today. Generally, it's the amount of information that is within the discretion of the planning board that is required. We have certainly, there are other applicants, we have not required that information on small level applications.
So when you're reading that last comment, it goes through things like contours,
Yeah. I see
Again, you're
that.
not changing the grade.
No.
You know,
And
that
it's-
might not be, you know, pertinent. You can probably leave that out. The soil types.
Correct, the
Again, that's,
landscaping.
right. So certain elements that are on there that, you know, your architect might determine to not be.
Right, it's more for our commercial end.
Right, you know, again,
Yeah.
just, some of these are, you're gonna add, and
Right.
like, obviously, the table of district uses and bulk requirements, that's
Okay.
important, that has to be on the site plan. That's the last element that I
That
listed
has
on
to-
number
yeah.
6. I don't know, do you see that? The
Where's
last item on number 6?
Last time, 6. Okay, I see it, yeah.
Those are the bulk requirements, the board definitely has to have that. Okay?
And then did we have a signed survey on this one?
We have a survey map, but it wasn't signed. But we should have a map that's signed by the surveyor and, you know, it should be a site plan, really.
Okay.
I think that looking at going through, both Dave and I, if you look at both of our memos, and I apologize, mine will be uploaded tomorrow. Our memos go through the number of requirements. The applicant largely complies. The biggest issue is going to be this floor area
Right.
ratio and the spacing. If they can resolve that one way or another, the rest of it is pretty straightforward.
Yes, that's really your architect and
I think
you.
it's just it's a misunderstanding, because it's not that much, the house is only, like the upper area is 2,200 square feet.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big number.
Well, but I think
then it's the lot size,
it
yeah.
gives you an opportunity to get with the building department
Right.
and say, this isn't really a finished basement.
Yeah.
Right,
Because if you're not using a finished basement, get it off the I can't give you legal advice, but get it off the tax records. Have what you have on the tax records so that, you know, but I'm gonna defer to the building department and the engineer on how you do that,
right, that's no problem.
okay?
Okay. It's simple enough.
Yeah. Any other questions you have?
No, I just
Okay.
want to get rolling, that's all.
Yeah, no, I
I
get
know.
it, I get it.
It's basically for my sister to move in.
Yeah.
She's selling her house. She lives in the town of Monroe, and she's selling her house. I just built her house 9 years ago, and she was willing to move back in with my parents. She's taking care of my father. She's basically there 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, she goes to work for a couple hours, comes back home, and she's basically there. She's never out of her house. So this is why we're doing this.
Yeah, we get it.
And listen, just trying to make it happen.
Yep.
We've been a resident. My parents have been a resident for over 50 years in Monroe.
Yep.
So, I mean, we want to stay here.
Yep.
If this is gonna happen, we're gonna leave. So,
Yep.
we don't want to do that. I live here also. I don't want to do that.
Yep.
But if we have to, we will.
Well, we want you to stay.
And, you
So-
know, my father, he loves Monroe. He's been here. He came from Italy, you know, so he just, we want to stay.
Yeah.
So we want to
No.
make it happen. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll work with the building department. There's no problem with that.
Yeah, and I think just looking at the bulk
Simple.
table.
I think it's simple.
You're right. It's just somebody doing the math.
Correct.
That's it.
It's no problem. All right. I appreciate your time, everyone.
Yeah. Great.
Happy holidays.
Yes, you too.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Okey-doke. We are at 581 Route 17M. And how are you, Avi? Dave, if you want to take us through your comments?
Sure. I mean, this one we've gone through a number of times. I'll just go through the new items if that's okay. Number one, and this had been previously talked about, but it was the proposed dumpster enclosure, which is shown to be located 5 feet away from both the rear and the side lot line. The village code prohibits locating the dumpster enclosure within any required setback. I believe, Elizabeth, you were gonna check with the building department, I think, regarding relocation of the dumpster enclosure.
And I did, and Avi, I hope you have it, there's an email interpretation dated August 16th, that,
Check that. Last I was not at that meeting. I was under the impression that the board was okay with it.
the board said that they were going, I went through the meeting minutes, the board said we were gonna ask for an interpretation. 'Cause
Got it.
we can't make that decision.
Right.
And, I generally don't have an objection to the location. The problem is that you are altering the location. And the building inspector said that it either needs to be brought into the setback or it needs to be, there needs to be an area variance. So that's
Okay,
the
so I think at
interpret.
this point then we'd go for a variance
Okay.
because it just, there's no real, if you pull up the plan, there's no real
I,
better location.
I get it completely.
Yeah.
I get it completely. It's just,
Right,
it's
okay, fine.
what I have to work with.
Okay,
And we're gonna be, wrapping up seeker, so you
right,
can go after we do that, so.
okay, good.
Okay, we'll continue through my comments, and if that's okay. So number 2 then, basically, there's existing non-compliant asphalt ramps that need to be removed. The plans, were revised to remove the ADA accessible parking spaces in the loading area along the side of the building nearest to Route 17M. The existing asphalt ramp should be noted to be removed, just as the other 2 existing asphalt ramps are. So there was still,
There's one I missed?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the-
towards it's the front parking lot. It leads
Okay.
right into the front of the building.
Okay,
Okay.
Oh, I didn't finish it.
Let's go through here. Okay, let's see, number 4. And this is a new comment. I think this came to light because there was some revisions made. There was some landscaping added at the back,
Yes.
right-hand side of the map. So basically, the plan shows maneuvering lane widths of 25.7 feet, 24.7 feet, and 24.1 feet adjacent to perpendicular parking spaces. Village code requires a minimum maneuvering lane width of 26 feet around perpendicular parking spaces regardless of whether it's one directional flow or two directional flow. So we recommended shifting the group of 14 parking spaces that were shown in the front of the building, as this would only decrease the 31-foot maneuvering lane and bring the 25.7-foot maneuvering lane into compliance. And of the group of the 3 spaces located near the 24.1-foot wide maneuvering lane, we recommended moving the outermost one to the end of the row of 7 spaces adjacent to the group of 3, and shifting the landscaping island to provide the minimum 26 feet. Sorry if that was confusing. But basically, they can make some adjustments and provide the 26 feet.
yeah, go to the next page.
There.
There we go, yeah. So, what Dave was saying is that we're just gonna shift this to make both of these, this is 25, this needs to be 26 feet,
Correct.
and this needs to be.
You're restriping anyway,
So we're
right?
just gonna restripe it, shift it down, and over here, because this is 24.7, I'm just gonna get rid of,
Right.
a foot and a half of length.
From that
Exactly.
side over, yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
What about that whole area you just pointed to?
Yeah,
No, the former, over there.
here, yeah.
Fink thinks the proposal should be put there instead of in the back. He says that's more in accordance with our comprehensive plan, and it
It just messes up the whole circulation. I mean, if you take a building this size and put it here, you're basically cutting this out. Now this, I mean, we're talking about a total reconfiguration.
Well, no, I mean, well, you were talking about reconfiguration, but.
But I mean like reconfiguration in terms of the site. Like imagine you took a box this size and now stuck it here.
Right, which is where it's supposed to be in accordance with our comprehensive.
First of all,
plan.
I don't think it would necessarily fit. And then also, now you come in, you may not be able to make this turn. That just, the site is laid out nicely. This is what it's been. This is nice circulation. And then you're just extending the circle a little further. So, I don't, I guess I really read through the comprehensive plan, but I did see that camera. I just think naturally this is a better place.
You're building another two-story building even further back, and that's, I mean, it doesn't fit with our comprehensive plan, and the objection that was raised last time was that it would loom over everything else. But if you go down 17M, Webster Bank is a two-story building, that doesn't loom over everything. You go up the other way, Chocolate Cheese is a two-story building, that doesn't loom over everything. Master Realty next to you is two-story building, that doesn't loom over everything. I think Fink might be right, this is a better idea.
I mean, then also keep in mind you're blocking off all this retail space, which is now exposed to 17M. I mean, most of the time, what you have is you have your parking in front and the buildings in the back. Just again, imagine you put a box in this size. You're not gonna be able to make this turn and go around. So that, now your whole site circulation is totally disturbed. This as it is not really wide enough for two-way. So how are you getting to the back? You can't go this way, you can't go this way. I mean, again, what you've had is, we had too much parking right before we came, the site as it is, right?
You got plenty of space there.
Here?
Yeah, to make a turn.
Well, to make the turn, keep in mind, you have to come in and get around the building. This building would now,
Yeah.
Right, you take something like this,
Right.
and now stick it in, kind of makes it tight. It just,
Well, I think
got-
the stronger point that Avi's making, I think,
this fits with the
is
site.
if I had a business in that middle building, or that, you know,
Right.
that, then that is true, you're totally blocked.
Oh, yeah,
You won't be
existing businesses
seen.
would not be seen from the road at all.
Well, there's only one there right now anyways, it's the Monroe Pharmacy.
I mean, yeah, but he'd like to obviously rent it out. It's meant to be rented. You know, again, master plans are generally, you know, comprehensive plan or big picture, site specific, when you take site by site. I think something like this, the fact that you have these two buildings, I think really the only natural place to put it is in the back. You're essentially taking the same circulation, you're eliminating this extra parking, which was established when we first started the process, not really needed, and you're putting a building there instead. Versus, you know, you've got the same exposure, everything stays the same, he's just putting offices in the back. I think that would actually make more sense than putting something in the front and just, you know, totally throwing everything out of whack. You know, if someone was totally demoing these buildings and building a new site, maybe this is what to talk about, and obviously you have your setbacks. But again, considering also everywhere behind it is all commercial, so it's not like you're really going into, you know, the rear setbacks and all that. I mean, we're conforming to all that. I think it actually probably makes sense where it is, and just keep the existing retail as is.
Yeah, and it's all offices in there, right?
Are they
proposed.
condo offices? Remember at one point there was mentioning that they.
No, that's next door. That's the other.
That's the other place that's
No,
gonna
it's
be?
this one.
Oh, is
No,
this one?
No,
This
No,
is-
this
that's
is-
part of
this
what
is-
we're doing. We're
Right,
here.
right, right.
That's why we're
I
here.
keep messing up those addresses.
Yeah.
Does this one have a pitched roof on it or a flat roof? Because I
Flat.
think we've seen renderings of a pitched roof at one point.
I never saw that. Those are flat.
No, I think it's flat. I think
Flat
it's-
roof.
It's flat.
Yeah.
We had it,
Barb, what do you think? You were saying something?
Well, I just wanted to make sure they would be condos for office buildings.
Yes,
Offices, yes.
I've already,
I'm sorry, that was,
abundantly clear. I made them take every reference of resident out, because they borrowed from a residential offering plan, which is not
Oh, okay.
uncommon, and I
Yeah.
said, take out every single
Same.
so
reference.
it's not even an issue.
No,
Thank you.
not on my,
Okay.
no, nope, commercial only.
Yeah.
Right.
Other thoughts you guys have?
Do we have any other commercial buildings along 17M with buildings that far set back? I can't think of any.
I think Project Supply has buildings set back, but their main building is up front.
Project Supply with the neighbors and whatnot.
Across from
Yeah,
the
across from there. Yeah.
Even the old car dealership has buildings in the back, right, the bays and
So
stuff.
Yeah.
even
So I
that,
think-
buildings up front though.
And I think with the upgraded comprehensive plan, Fred, because I was in on the, you know, discussions on that, is, you know, as you build, it's like you said, to bring it all up front, sometimes it's not gonna work out as well. The idea, it would be great to put as much as you can up front on 17 there. The
Well,
only, the
like a
thing I,
Main Street type of look or something?
Right.
Yeah, but that's.
right, that's what they're
Right.
going for,
Which-
right?
right.
So, but like again, if in that business, and I know it's a pharmacy right now, but if that goes out, something else comes in, you'll never rent that thing, because I wouldn't rent it, you know, in there, just.
Also, there's a difference, like you take, for example, right out here, Stage Road, that's like a very pretty, you know, nice frontage and all that. Something like that, this is more of a highway,
Hmm?
you know, like you said,
Well,
these are
are
existing
you gonna
buildings.
repave it? Because right now, it does not look like it's in very good shape.
Well, again, that is part of the improvements. I can't say we're totally repaving, but a lot of what's existing is being ripped out with nice curbing and landscaping and all that, so it's definitely going to be upgraded.
All right, because,
Did they just repave it? Did you just repave the whole thing? I think
I
they
don't
paved
think we
it.
put that in specifically.
I think they just paved the whole thing recently, a few months ago, actually.
I'll have to look, because
the
it,
Yeah.
new guys are gonna be blocked out too from the street. The whole the new
Right.
building's not gonna have any.
No, but when you're going, what they're saying, there's no retail in it.
it's all office. So it doesn't need site, it doesn't need to be seen from the road?
No
It's just a, yeah,
it's just an store.
just a,
We're
right,
just slicing it up.
yeah, it's just to make them own it, and it's a way to raise money for paying for what you're doing.
Small office space next to the office space.
What do you think, Marilyn?
No, I'm okay with it in the back.
won't even have the ability to rent the stores. I mean,
Yeah, if they're blocked.
you know, I understand that, you know.
You have to work with what you have.
Yeah,
Years ago, in the other zoning plans, it was, you had to have 50-foot setback from the
Right.
road before you
Right.
get the building.
Yes.
So, I mean, and that's the reason why they were set back. And then the zone, the rules keep changing and
Yeah.
things moving. But, but I have no problem with it in the back. I think it's better than being stuck
Yeah, I
in the
think
front.
Too
Yeah.
there, you know what I mean?
I disagree, that's all right.
Yeah. Well, what's the width of the building? What would it be on the street? What's the, is it
The building is approximately 80 feet by 90.
80, which way? 80 long?
79.8 this way.
So 80, so it's 80 feet.
I mean, that's basically gonna take up that whole front right there, yeah?
Avi, what's the difference between Route 17 and the first building? What's how many feet? Do you know?
From here
Yes.
to here. Well, 31 plus 26 is approximately 55. Each space is 18, that's another 36. Times 72, so what, 50, 120 feet, give or take?
So 120 feet that way and
You're
70
looking at
feet.
40 feet to split up between the road and the building, right? You have 20 and 20 then.
Yeah, you have 50 feet, it sounds like. Right? So if it's 70, building's 70 width-wise
Well,
this
it's
way.
120, right, so it's one.
Right, and it's 70,
20 and 80.
Right.
right, but it's 70 this way and 8, right? 70 this way and 80 this way?
It's 70, it's 80 this way and 90 this way.
Oh, 90, sorry, I had it wrong.
You have a setback, a front yard
90,
setback there
Right,
too.
and then also, right, the front yard setback is 60 feet. So you'd automatically be going into the front yard setback. And then again, like I said, just in terms of blocking off all the retail and the circulation, you know, talking about tight turns, it's a
30,
third.
yeah, you're looking at 30 feet to split.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
That's
You got
jammed.
15 in the front, 15 in the
Even
back.
if you oriented the building, it just,
Yeah,
you know.
if you put the building up against another building too. that-
Yeah, they're just, you know,
It
it's
would
like
be
this is the
awkward.
natural spot. Again, the comprehensive plan, if you're building a new site, you could talk about how they want it, but it's not like all the other buildings are up front and this one's set back. They're all like that there.
Do you have any more comments?
So, do you want me to pick up where I left off?
Yes, please, Dave.
Okay, so number 5, the plan shows 9 feet wide parallel parking along the rear of the proposed addition. Village code requires parallel parking spaces to provide a minimum width of 10 feet. So that's just,
It's an easy.
Yep, not a problem.
Adjustment there, yes.
number 6, the plans do not appear to propose any change in grade to the existing paved areas that are to remain. This would appear to create a low point in front of the proposed sidewalk along the west side of the proposed addition. We recommend applicant address the drainage in this area.
We'll add an inlet, no problem.
Okay, landscaping calculations have been shown on sheet 2 and demonstrate compliance with village code. At the August 11th planning board meeting, the board discussed landscaping, to which the design engineer indicated he would review the possibility of adding landscaping along the rear of the proposed building. Landscaping has been added along the rear of the proposed addition and the property line. The planning board should review the updated landscaping plan for adequacy. So there's an addition now along the rear property line,
Right.
a narrow strip of
Yeah,
shrubs,
it's-
I think, that are going in there, right?
Yeah, we specifically wanted to keep them low, and the reason is because if you're parallel parking, you don't want to open your
Yeah.
door
Yep.
and hit something.
Avi, we were looking at aerials earlier today, and it looks like there's a hedgerow or something that
Trees.
might be planted. Is that on your neighbor's property? Is that on your property?
I don't, probably my neighbors, my clients.
It's along the back of the property. I think, it looks like it's on the neighbor's
Yeah.
property.
Okay,
Not that I know, you know.
so that'll just enhance that buffer.
Yeah.
Right.
The board
Okay.
requested it at one of the previous meetings, and, you know, we spent some time, you know, banging some heads together, and
No, I think there's quite a bit. I mean, I think it looks better. You know.
Okay, number 8 is just pointing out there was, I think, an inconsistency with the table, and if you count the number of shrubs that are shown there, it looks like they're off by 2.
okay.
Okay, so it's a consistency issue. Number 9, it's a repeat comment. We talk about the lighting. Basically, you were going to have custom shields on the lighting, correct? And the condition is that we have to confirm that there's no light spillage across the property line.
Yeah.
That's what has been discussed in the past. Plan should include a porous pavers detail.
David, before you continue,
Sure.
I know you've asked for a revised lighting plan going back to August. Did you get it?
I don't think.
I know there were some revisions made. You did have some, yes, there were some revisions made. A new lighting plan has been given.
Since August.
Yes. We've addressed it with 3,000 Kelvin. We have addressed some of these comments, but we did agree
The plan is
then.
not in his hands.
I may have it,
You
what I
may
think
have
what I'm summarizing here are the requirements under the code.
I mean, we still have, this is never gonna go to public
Well,
hearing. I mean, we got so many open issues. He
Let me
says-
read the,
he
let me read
says-
the comment
He
in
says
full, okay?
yes. He says yes to everything,
Let's read the comment in full, okay?
but you don't have it in paper. Don't have it in plan.
Dave said he might have it.
I have to look, let me read the comment here. A revised lighting
Then
plan has
we're in
been
trouble.
submitted, okay?
Yeah, well, hold on, well, let's just see.
It says a revised lighting plan has been submitted and shall be, but it shall be revised to comply with village code. House side shields or similar light directing devices shall be modeled with lighting direction and foot candle values provided. Code 200-34A5 is as follows.
The lighting plan.
Light sources, including bulbs and LED arrays, must not be visible from public rights-of-way or neighboring residential properties. All outdoor lighting must be fully shielded to prevent any light from being emitted above the horizontal plane, with no more than 10% of the lamp's lumens allowed at or above an 80-degree angle. LED lights must have a color temperature of 3,000 Kelvin or lower. This has been addressed. Light levels measured along any property line adjacent to a vacant or residential lot must not exceed 0.2 foot candles. An individual lighting fixture shall not emit more than 3,000 lumens. The plans provided show light levels greater than 0.2 foot candles at the property lines. Applicant has indicated that all lighting will be provided with custom-made house side shields to provide total cutoff of light at property lines. If this is acceptable to the planning board, we would recommend making this a condition of any action.
Right, this is what we discussed then, that all these issues have been addressed. The way we model it, with these custom shields can't be modeled, so we would ensure, we would test them at the time. Again, the engineer could be there as part of the condition to ensure that there's no spillage, that it's cut off at the lot, at the property line.
Okay?
So there were also, Dave, I think some inconsistencies, like the hallway, see that?
Yes.
Yeah, those are-
Yeah, I have that thing later in my comments.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. We'll keep going through it, if
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah.
Then number 10, plan should include a porous pavers detail.
Okay.
Number 11, the project is subject to architectural review by the planning board. Renderings showing the general appearance of the proposed building addition were previously provided by the applicant. Board should consider the proposed building addition appearance, and applicant shall provide colors and materials of construction.
Okay, so can we stop there? This is all site plan related. We'll deal with the subdivision in a minute. We have no problem addressing and responding to all these comments. Again, some of them are repeats, I think, because of these, board to evaluate and all that. So I'm just wondering, in regards to the site plan, we did make some changes last time. Like I said, we added the landscaping in the rear. But what you see, minus, again, we have to shift some striping and all that. What you see is what it is. If the board's okay with this, again, we'll fix this up,
So you're just talking straight layout versus?
Yeah, straight layout. Subdivision is
Dave
what
and I are
throws it.
talking nitpick consistency issues.
Right.
He's asking you the broad question, are you
Like, are you
Right,
guys
are we
comfortable?
satisfied with
Are you-
the structures?
before he
Yes,
goes
as they are.
into tweaking and correcting and refining, before he does that, he doesn't want to do that and then have you guys say, no, we want the site shifted around. So he's trying to get a comfort level, the warm and fuzzy, as I call it.
Right.
That the overall site, not the nitty gritty, but the
I
overall
mean, it
site
sounds like
is.
the board, most of the board, I know, excepting Fred, and unless somebody else didn't speak, is comfortable with the building being at the back versus the front. Am I right?
Do we like that tunnel
Fred's always
going
standing
through?
alone in his.
Do we like that tunnel going through?
The tunnel?
He's used to it. He wouldn't feel at home. That's right.
Jeff, the tunnel going through
Tunnel?
from one side to the
Yes,
other?
we're gonna talk about that. So,
Do we really like that?
so,
Let's just, if we could just explain the history of why we did that. We did not want, we felt it was safer for people, instead of people walking around the building and on sidewalks, we wanted to give them direct access from the front parking lot through the building. That was one of the things that came up at this meeting, and we made up that we would just put in a corridor.
So that's an internal, you don't see that from the outside, Joe.
Right.
That's an internal situation. So if they want the inside for them to walk through the
There
building.
will be doors, yeah, don't look at it as like, a tunnel coming out of the, out of like a football, into the football field out of a
That
stadium.
wouldn't be bad either, though.
Right.
Will it be heated and everything, finished?
The reason why we're showing it, why that feature specifically is being shown, so so you shouldn't question of, well, someone's gonna have to go around
Right.
or walk on a sidewalk. So that came up in one of the previous meetings that we're showing it, that this is how people can access that rear building. That's all it is.
Right.
It'll be closed, or it's part of the building.
It's like a shortcut.
Yeah.
Avi, just
From the
note
parking
on
lot.
the,
But you're
not
not
on the,
seeing it from
not on the
outside.
site plan,
That's
but
just
on your
internally for them to get to where they need to go.
subdivision
Can
plan.
you
Yeah.
get to it from the outside?
I have it in my
Yeah,
comments.
you can
Your
walk.
hallway's
there's
in
probably a
one
door-
spot
a
in
door,
one picture and
It's like a
another
man
spot
door.
in another picture.
You know, to go in.
So,
Yeah.
just,
Is that
that's
what
like
you-
one of the
Hallways like
consistency
that are
issues.
nothing but trouble.
Yeah, and again,
Say it again?
Hallways like that are nothing but
That's why I
trouble.
want to square
In
with
what
site
way?
plan,
Violence?
And,
It's got a door,
It's-
it closes. Like like a doorway
it's a
in any
hallway.
building.
It'll be double doors, it'll open up, and then people could just,
Yeah,
Walk
and that's,
straight to the back.
are there,
And it will
Is
be
there
locked at
access-
night when you don't have folks there, you'll lock that hallway. I think,
the way anyone would lock any other office
Built,
building.
yeah, right across.
Yeah.
is there access from that? Is that just a tunnel right from front to
I'd
back?
have to check the architecturals, right, or could it be you get access? I'd have to check that, I don't
Yeah.
know that off the top of my head.
Because that'd be good to show on there too, just
Right.
to make, you know?
Right, well, we sort of, we keep off the general architecturals, like I said, this point of just connecting the back to the front is the main reason why it's being shown. And maybe it could be it's not 100% in the right spot, now we could definitely put it there as we get the
you
architecturals.
just check the measure,
Yeah.
because on your, it's
Yeah.
your subdivision plat. The two
Right.
drawings are of two different scales, but I can tell you,
Right.
they're in the, pick which one you want.
So at this point, like Elizabeth asked before, we have no problem, as far as the layout, we're fine, these comments are easily addressable. Some of them have been repeat just because of, we just wanted to make sure we had the board's blessing on it. But if the board is happy with it, we have no problem squaring this away in terms of the layout.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, now the subdivision.
Do you have any more subdivision?
So on the subdivision, let's go through it really quick. Submitted documents include plans for dividing the buildings into individual condominiums. Approval of condominium projects is subject to Chapter 175 of the Village Code, which is subdivision of land. I defer to the board's legal counsel with regards to procedure for review and approval of the condominium plan, maintenance agreements, etc. The following comments are offered relative to the submitted subdivision plat. A map should include the seal and signature of a licensed surveyor.
So the final one will definitely do that.
Okay. B, meets and bounds must be provided for the perimeter of common area.
And that would include hallways as well?
I'm going to defer to legal counsel
Okay.
on what
I would
needs
say
to
that's
be
a common
provided.
area.
Well, yeah,
C, as the map will require filing in the Orange County Clerk's Office, it is recommended that the applicant submit the plan to the county for preliminary review and comment so that any required notes or other information needed may be shown.
Yeah. I'm first trying to square it away here, and then I will file it there.
Okay, and D, hallway location, we just talked about this, the hallway
Yes.
location shown on the site plan does not align with that shown on the interior layouts provided on the minor subdivision plat. The door shown on the subdivision plat that is to be used for the corridor in the site plan opens directly into the wall between units S11 and S12.
Yep.
And then I continued on my comments. The board adopted a resolution to declare intent for lead agency on February 25th, 2025. Board to consider the secret determination. And the last, other than
The
the public
SHPO
hearing-
letter you got.
Yes.
Actually just came in recently.
we got the SHPO letter.
Yes.
Okay,
It
I'll mark
just,
that. I
it
don't
came
think I see
in
it
like
yet.
yesterday.
Oh, I don't, yeah, okay. Mhm.
They made a mistake on it, Elizabeth. They referenced city. Seeker with a C instead
Oh,
of an S.
it-
The original letter we got from them was referring to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. So the guys, you have the wrong
All right.
site.
So I trust that the letter says no impact?
yes,
It's a letter of no impact?
yes. I did notice they put seeker instead of,
Because the
Secret.
original, we had to have them revise it. The original one said Brooklyn Navy Yard. We're like, I think you guys have the wrong site.
Okay,
So,
Okay.
yeah.
that was it.
So, Avi, do we have all the, we don't, do you have all the info on who's managing the building?
The bylaws were submitted. It's gonna be a condo association or whatever the commercial equivalent is called.
Right, so I think what we would need from you is all the contact information for all the managers.
So,
The problem is they're not sold yet. I don't know how that would work.
so we can make it a condition, it doesn't exist yet.
Correct.
Because, so
As
the
they
developer,
come.
right, so the developer would assume the role as the sponsor, and he would be the primary contact and the primary responsibility for the site until that the development was reached a certain percentage of sales, and that's when the sponsor turns over the development to the association. At that point in time, the association would have to provide the contact. There is provision in the bylaws for a property manager, and that would be the contact. It doesn't necessarily have to be the board of managers, but it has to be someone that we can contact. There's still, if there's violations, the service of process is the Secretary of State. So that's pretty standard and very easy to effectuate. But there is provision for the professional property manager. So they would need to provide us with that contact. I'm more interested in that contact but I can incorporate that as a condition of approval, that be kept up to date with the building department.
Right. Yep.
So there is, again, it is there. Most of my comments regarding subdivision and declaration, and I realized, Avi, as I clicked print too quickly, so I'll email you a corrected version, so take this with a little grain of salt, because it still has my highlights on it.
Yep.
In a previous version, and I know you're not responsible for the architecturals, there was discussion of, and we had a conference call on this. The new building was, in some documents, is treated as Unit L. In other documents, it's treated as a limited common area attached to another unit. It has to be consistent. I don't necessarily take a position as to what it is, but it has to be consistent. I understand that it presents an interesting, what your client wants to do presents a chicken or an egg problem with respect to the Attorney General's office, but whatever we need to do, we need to be consistent across the board. I think your condo attorney has a path forward, and whatever that path is, but again, that wasn't updated in the declaration, and then the plans are kind of, because it says unit, so I go, oh, it's a unit, and then when you call it a limited common area, I'm going, okay, well, what is it? So I think that's my biggest comment.
And ultimately, just to clarify to the board, what we came up with is they are gonna have to update what they submit to the AG based on what's approved here. So I'm gonna work out these inconsistencies and you're gonna review them and
Okay.
just so the board understands, I'm showing essentially well, if you pull up the condo maps, what I'm showing is essentially what I'm being given by the architect and by whoever's filing the condos with the AG's office. I'm essentially the facilitator on this. So there are a few of these inconsistencies. I understand you can't stamp it, you can't get final approval until that's sorted out. I do think we've made a lot of progress in this submission.
So the only thing is, I had a lovely map last submission set that, unit 1, unit 2, and now I have, the labels have all changed. So just double check your layering, because I didn't, part of my issue in reviewing it is like some of your labels on, I almost wish I hadn't seen it, because some of it, if you look at the labels, it says access restricted, which I think they meant as a comment to the other, you can't get from the new building to the old.
Right.
But I lost all my unit labels, so some of my comments with respect to units, I couldn't tell if they were updated.
Right.
So that's just some consistency issues. I think your comment memo, we had talked previously about interconnection between old and new, and your comment memo, response to comments said, oh, we updated, but the architecturals are showing that it's not. I think that based on the way the architecturals are drawn, I think that's the intent. Just please confirm.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's largely it. Just, I went through and I'm gonna double check, just to be abundantly clear, there were references to, and I know what happened, they utilized something that they've used for residential condominiums, which is
Right.
fine, except
They need
there's
that.
references to residential and
Right.
sharing units with family members and things like that. That should all come out
Just
because
like-
it's a commercial
Right.
condo.
Hey, if SHPO can make that mistake, we'll
Hey,
let the attorney.
I
Yeah.
So Liz, the descriptions for the units, is that what you mean by the labels?
So, not necessarily, they submitted a floor plan that
Uh-huh.
shows each of the units.
Right.
Their last floor plan
Right,
labeled
had the
every
labels.
unit,
Yeah.
and this floor plan did not. This is essentially, this is the subdivision plat that gets filed, but they submitted
Mhm.
greater detail architecturals, which is what gets submitted to the Attorney General's office,
Right.
right? And is also probably part of the offering plan. But what I got, and I don't know, maybe a layer was turned off. It's
Yeah,
not entirely,
I'll-
it's not entirely clear.
Right.
I almost went, where were those lovely drawings and
Right.
small tweaks? So,
Again, you're talking about what's shown on my map. Or what
if
would
you
be-
look at the architectural drawings that were submitted, you had one set, hold on, let me just pull it up.
Yeah.
It's whatever your plan labeled condo was. So if you, Terry, if you can just pull up, there's a document labeled
Oh.
condo plan set.
The one that says seal, that one?
Yep, that one. I'm sorry, nope, architecturals.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, the bottom one?
Yep, bottom
December
one.
1st.
So it just threw me for,
Yeah, I will get the architect. I'm gonna go through all these documents.
because the last time I had these beautiful notations,
Right, no,
you know,
100%.
and then I got something new and it just completely
Like I
threw
said,
me
it's
for a
been, it's
loop.
been a challenge pulling together all the different
It's
parties
okay.
to get everything to line up.
That's basically the layout of the new
Yeah.
existing office.
Effectively, yeah.
Right.
Avi, I do think there's an intent for some interconnection, which is not from a planning perspective, I don't care.
Right.
So your comment said, oh, no, it was revised, and then I was like, wait. So I think that was the intent, if you could just confirm that.
Yes.
Is it the new building just gonna be condos?
No. The new building's
Everything is
actually
gonna
one,
convert?
the new building's actually one unit.
Oh.
Yes, it's one owner for that. The old building is gonna be split into condos.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
you do not have to, so condos are by art, how they're defined. My former boss would condoize a parking spot. You think I'm kidding, he would. So you can define a unit however you want, and then what it is what's the unit, and then what is the share of ownership interest in the total building. So that particular unit has a greater ownership interest, but again, that's one of the biggest discrepancies, is that unit, because
Right.
I get what they were trying to do, but if that's gonna be a unit, it has to be on your exhibit B.
100%.
So, what you have to do for the AG is disclose, okay, this unit is this size, they get such and such % of ownership of the common elements. They own from the sheetrock in, but then, the percentage of the common elements, and that's why you see the little percentages.
Right, okay.
So their declaration has a table, it needs to be updated, but their declaration has a table of all and it's largely based on the square footage.
Yep.
Okay,
So
thank you.
considering that I think the board is comfortable with the layout and all
Mhm.
that, obviously there's some minor comments which are very easily addressable. And I still have to just work out some labeling and, we'll call it housekeeping. Not so much in how it's gonna be laid out, but just in the consistencies to get the map, the subdivision ready to be filed. Would it be okay if we go to a public hearing?
I have to do your subdivision, I have to do a neg deck first, so.
And before we approve that, we definitely
We
want
need
to
the
see
variant,
the
we need the
changes.
variance.
For the dumpster enclosure.
Oh, so you go.
No,
I would get rid.
I have to do neg deck first. I have to do neg deck first.
Before it goes to,
And then they'll do their own secret review at the,
Or they can
ZBA.
rely on ours.
right.
And once I do the neg deck has to be first. The order of operations after that is less critical. So you can authorize me to
It
draft.
involves subdivision, right? Because this involves subdivision, you have to have the
Kittredge,
neg
yeah.
deck before you can have the public hearing.
Yep. So what you can do
Yeah. to
is
have you
authorize
draft
me
it.
to draft, subject to the receipt of some of those items.
All those items.
I can draft a negative declaration for
Mhm.
discussion at next month's meeting.
Sharpen your pencil.
No, yeah, that's all addressable. The hardest part has just been the subdivision, you know,
Yeah.
parties that'll be on my control. Everything else
They
is.
need a motion to do that?
And again, like I said, that's, you know, in terms of the layout. The other stuff is just technicalities on
ones that I
ownership.
think are good to go.
But
draft
everything
without
here
asking.
that was brought up regarding the layout, we have no problem addressing, and we're happy to square that away, so.
Good.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the, Elizabeth will draft the neg deck,
Mhm.
and then it can go to public meeting.
So how does that work? When would I have to come back? Meaning, what's
How
the
fast
order?
can you get all the details on?
Let's just say a week, you know, something like that.
Well,
Well-
if you make the submission date for January, if I could spit it out.
What is the submission date for January? It's December something.
If you're
I think the
feeling
12th is
ambitious,
the meeting, right?
Yeah, so the 29th, does that make sense?
that
probably
sounds about right.
But again,
Does he need to wait to make
Jeff,
the
reiterate,
ZBA
it
application?
all has to be done.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Probably not, right? They
We can
just
go
can't
back
act.
months, he says yes to everything. Nothing has changed.
On what,
Right.
Joe?
Everything.
Plenty has
All
changed.
of David's comments.
Well, no, it's
They've
gotta
all-
be
they-
all brought up to speed.
Gotta be
Absolutely.
all complete.
Yeah.
But again,
100%.
but, you know,
Not again.
no, but
It has to be
but
all
what David,
complete.
right, but what David was saying is there are some of those comments where he's essentially saying that the board has to agree that those will just be conditions, like the lighting that you brought up. That the board is going to put in a condition that there will be cutoff when we actually test it in the field. You know, that the lighting spillage will be cut off.
The lighting
That's-
certainly
so-
is gonna be tested when it's put in.
Right,
But the lighting plan has to be complete for David's review.
so the answer is it is. He's just keeping that comment open because he needs the board to state that
condition.
they are okay with the condition. That's all. That's why it's been open.
Yeah.
It's been addressed. Same thing with the other comments. I mean, he's kept the seeker comment. There's been a couple of these comments that are open. Again, if the board is saying that they're okay with it, this is a condition that will continue. That's fine.
Is there something, Joe, that you think we're not getting? Like,
I just wanna see everything complete.
yeah, 100%.
That's all.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if you could get it done by the 29th, it would be in, we could go through it work session, discuss neg deck, potentially we'd be in a place to adopt neg deck at your January regular meeting, the second meeting.
Mhm.
Right. Set the public hearing. Once you have the neg deck, you can then go to the ZBA for your
it.
variance.
Right, so if you come on the workshop meeting and everything's squared away,
Right.
And the neg deck would be, part of that,
Right.
part of that neg deck, would include a statement, I'm assuming, and this is for the board, that the board is generally in favor of the location of the dumpster in its proposed location, and would you be recommending that variance versus moving it?
right. I don't see how it works the other way. I mean, that's the best place for the dumpster unless anybody sees something different. You know? I don't see any.
So I would put that in the negative deck. So if everybody, you know, I personally don't see another more appropriate location.
Right.
So I'll type that up. You have your homework to do. And
Right, so these comments, though, that are outstanding, such as, you know, public hearing is required, how do we
Well-
eliminate these? Right. No, but I just don't want them to come and say we haven't been addressing the comments, so.
well, mine say for information, application subject.
Okay.
Anyone that
So,
says
you
for
know.
information is pretty no, just a notation.
Right, no, but I just don't want to, you know,
Well, and Joe, you know, we keep them open
Yeah,
because they're either gonna be conditioned, because you're not getting your approval
right.
until the conditions.
And Avi, I'll email you a cleaned up memo, I apologize.
he constantly says yes,
But there have been some
Yes,
new
it's
ones that
done.
come back.
but it's not done. David will tell you that. Just
don't
get
think
it
they-
done. He says it takes a couple of days. Couple of days, he makes December 29th.
Right, I
He
think.
comes to the work session, he's
Yeah.
got a public hearing the end of January.
Yeah.
What's better than that?
Well,
And plus, I'm sure he knows that there's 24,000 square feet of office space being built right next to you.
I actually did not know that. Okay,
He's informed of that now.
I will relay that to my client.
There's gonna be an awful lot of office space.
More office space in the village of Monroe.
Yep.
And there's a lot of it empty now.
This is true.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Abby?
Happy holidays, everyone.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Abby.
you too.
I'll email you a revised one.
Good. All right, I think we are up to 3:30 stage. So,
I have a non-office project that we want to present. It's good to be back. We haven't been here since, I believe, April or May of this year. So during that time, the project went to the zoning board to request interpretation and a decision. It's my understanding that was done and was passed along with our submission. In addition to that, Kimberly Horn wrote their decision or final letter regarding the traffic. We noted their conditions that were on the last page, and we incorporated that onto our site plan and our traffic maneuverability plan. In addition to that, we received Dave's comments, so if you'd like to review them, here we are.
so let me start here, David. So, and I think I'm speaking for the board, but they can speak up as well. So, this is a special permit project, right? And as part of that, we have to evaluate whether the project meets the standards that are set forth there in the code, right? The code 248.2. And then another part of the code, which is 200-58. And as this has been presented and we're looking at it, we've asked a lot of questions. And I'm going to speak personally. I don't believe that this project meets the objectives of the special permit. And particularly when it comes to the interaction of traffic on the site. Okay, so I think loading at the front of the site, which is what we're talking about there, loading at the front of the site restricts access, okay, including like emergency vehicles. And we get into particulars like somebody's loading, kids are in school, ambulance can't get through because that truck's in the way. That's a problem. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna read the code as well. So I think the site might be able to accommodate either of the two proposed uses, retail or daycare, right? But when they're combined, I think the traffic patterns required by each use are in direct conflict with each other. That's how I see it. We've asked our planner and traffic engineer to comment specifically on the issue, but absent greater detail in the traffic analysis and absent traffic patterns that don't restrict emergency access or allow traffic to back up Downstage Road, especially when it's so close to the light on 17. I'm personally not comfortable that the site would operate safely, and I would vote to deny the permit, personally. And so I don't believe the board is comfortable in hearing all the comments of the project in its current form, absent significant more study being done, and even alteration, I think, to the proposed plan. The special permit is, in my view, likely to be denied on that. But I want to, and maybe so you can see what I'm talking about, I'm going to pull up our code here, which I should have right here. And this is 200-48.2. I'm going to go to three points here, A, B, and D. And I'm going to read all three. They're pretty brief. The location and size of the use, the nature and intensity of the operations, and traffic involved in or conducted in connection with it. The size of the site in relation to it, and the location of the site with respect to the streets giving access to it are such that it will be in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development of the district which it's located. I think you have two very different uses, and to me, it doesn't jive there. That's one. In B, the location, nature, and height of the buildings, walls, and fences, and the nature and extent of the landscaping on the site are such that the use will not hinder or discourage the appropriate development and use of adjacent land and buildings. So you have people right next door, right? You have two different uses, buses coming through and all that. That's a second issue. And trucks and so forth. I think it was D was the other one. The parking areas will be of adequate size, and these are conditions, for the particular use, properly located and suitably screened from adjoining residential uses, and the entrance and exit drives shall be laid out so as to achieve maximum safety. I don't think this achieves that. I don't. And as much as the determination came from the zoning board, that's fine, but it's still the applicant's responsibility to satisfy seeker. That's what I'm talking about, right? And the special use permit. And, you know, I'm gonna put it out to the rest of the board here, but that's what I see here. I don't think it's a good use. I really want to encourage you guys to go back and to look and say, look, let's do this whole thing in retail. Let's make it all retail. Or let's get retail out and let's make it all kids. Let's just help the kids and do the kids. I think it's not a good lot to do both on in the way it's just in the way it's laid out. And the traffic patterns and so forth. And look, when the trucks come in there, there's big trucks, there's smaller trucks, there's trucks that park on the street to unload, there's trucks that park in the lot and block off that entrance going down. And that's what's going to continue. And if they back up the other way, they're blocking off all the parking to the right side. So to me, it doesn't satisfy the safety piece in particular on this.
Of 200-48.2?
Correct. And particularly A, B, and D. D in particular, which is, you know, achieving maximum safety. You know, if it was all kids, it's all kids. Because you're not talking either, you're talking like, I think we said 8 to 10 buses, let's say. But you're talking kids in car seats. There's significant time on these guys. We talked about staggering things, but the bus route. How do you stagger the bus route? We haven't seen anything on that. You know, we talk about telling the truckers they can't come in during the time the kids are in school. Who's going to enforce that? That's unenforceable. We could say it all day long. We put signs up. We can put whatever, but you can't enforce it. It's just, you know, it's not going to happen. So, you know, I want to really encourage you. Look, I want to see the lot working like anybody else. I don't think it meets the special use. And the special use, all conditions must be met on here. Not some of them, it's all of them. So I can open up to the board. Those are some of my thoughts. And if you guys want to pipe in on that, that's fine.
I agreed with the trucks in the front too. There's no way, I don't see how that could be possible. And I didn't even think about blocking for an ambulance too, so that adds even more importance to it, it just doesn't seem like it'd work.
Yeah, even getting into the schedules and stuff, and like you were saying, you can have the big trucks at certain times. Snowstorms happen, flat tires happen, they come at a different time, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, parents come because the kid, didn't get to the bus, or they said, I'll bring him later. He was running late today, something,
yeah.
That happens all the time.
Right.
So while it's possible to satisfy all the technical comments, and we can put that to rest, especially since the ZBA rendered a decision and Kimley Horn issued their determination, even though we would be able to satisfy the technical comments, the board still would not go ahead because it doesn't satisfy the special use.
Before the board answers that question, I do want to just clarify the effect of the ZBA's determination.
Okay.
And I did listen to the entire hearing. So I went through and I listened to the entire hearing. So the ZBA did issue a decision in order dated October 14th, which upheld the February 10th, 2025 determination of Jim Cox that the loading area, which Jim doesn't identify, is was pre-existing and did not need to comply with the 200-foot setback from the residential zones. The ZBA did not issue any approval. They did not issue a variance. They simply upheld the determination that the loading area was pre-existing. They treated that as an interpretation and was a type 2 action. They did not have the benefit of our seeker review, and they did not conduct their own seeker review. I want to be clear that neither the determination of Jim Cox or the determination of the ZBA constituted determination that the land use, the proposed use of the loading zone as proposed does not create an adverse impact on traffic both on-site or off-site for the purpose of seeker, or two, that the proposed traffic patterns for both proposed uses on-site meet the conditions for granting a special permit pursuant to 284.2 and 58, excuse me. I added, in addition to my comment, which I apologize, my memo's a little late, so I will be emailing both the applicant and Terry comments in tomorrow. I note the site plan provides no notation of a loading zone and turning diagrams for the delivery trucks. And the turning diagrams for the turning trucks further fail to identify where the truck will actually stop and unload. The applicant's traffic consultant identified a potential unloading in front of the building, which is now listed as no parking. In addition, the applicant acknowledges that loading will block some of the on-site parking, and I've provided images in my comment memo so that the board can see. So ultimately, so while effectively, if we take the ZBA's interpretation that the loading area, we'll call it, were the glass doors in front of the building, it's still on the burden is still on the applicant to demonstrate that the use as a whole of the site won't have an adverse seeker impact, so traffic impact, and then meets those special permits. We did have a consultant prep meeting this morning, and we had a lengthy discussion on this topic. The issue isn't necessarily the loading zone by itself. If this was just a retail shop, and it's the interaction between the two, because right now the retail is permitted, and there would be less impacts to deal with.
Right.
So, and I also want to be clear that Kimley Horn does not issue determinations. They issue comments for the board to evaluate the impacts of a project. So whether Kimley Horn makes a favorable comment, that should not be read as a determination. It's not necessarily, it should be informative to this board, but is not ultimately a determination of this board.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
they specifically didn't address the loading, I have reached out to Mr. Canning to discuss the interaction between the buses and the loading.
Yeah, and I think that needs to
Did he get back to you?
I did not have a chance to speak to him yet.
Yeah, I think that needs to be looked at, very, very seriously. But I don't know, I just want to encourage you, David, to go back, talk to your people and see, maybe they can find a different place for the school or vice versa for the furniture and other things, because I think it's the mixed use that is the impact. And even when it was looked at with loading and so forth, nobody was thinking of this particular project. They weren't thinking of, a mixed use of kids and other things and furniture and whatnot on the property. And this isn't like small deliveries coming in of like the UPS guy stopping and walking in the front door. These are trucks coming in, sometimes very big trucks, right? Sometimes medium-sized box trucks, but they're coming in and they're unloading and, they're carrying things in there. It's some heavyweight stuff.
Well, that is true. When you look at the history of the building, I mean, Fetter dealership was there from 2013 and back. They used that front space as a showroom, so the cars were delivered there and brought in there to be displayed. They used the left side of the building for parts, and then the back end was actually a repair shop.
Right.
So it wasn't even a loading area per se. After that, from 2013 on, Ramapo Wholesalers took it. They used the front area as a showroom. Trucks would come in, take things out, and bring them into the showroom at the front, not through the back. And I know those projects well because I was involved with them. So, I mean, that front area had been used quite a bit as a loading area, and it was established.
And that's why I think it's not whether that or not, that's why it's the mixed use issue more than anything else.
We're not contesting that we're not arguing that it's not an established loading area. What we're saying is that the use of that loading zone in connection with, it's the interaction between the two proposed uses, which you did not have with any of those other projects. That's the issue, so we're clear.
Well, we would like to get Mr. Cannon's comments, get Elizabeth's comments, and take a look at it. I will say with the ZBA, first of all, I appreciate that you're considering the ZBA's weigh-in. What would be the right terminology on the application? Because I did see the description that was put in, the narrative, and it did make specific reference to that front loading area. So I believe the ZBA was
I don't think they made a determination one way or the other.
No, they just confirmed the interpretation.
All they're saying is right, exactly.
Except that doesn't give this board any direction.
Right.
And I will also note during the hearing, Chairman Baum specifically said it's still incumbent on the applicant to address that it's a planning issue of seeker, because they specifically did not go through the seeker analysis for their interpretation, and even one board member voted against it because he was not comfortable with it. So I just want to be clear that this is a seeker. This isn't we're disregarding the ZBA determination, but the use as proposed is problematic.
ZBA went type 2, right? So that's why.
It's unlisted.
It type
Gotta be
2.
unlisted.
Well,
They did
no,
it type
ours
2.
is unlisted. Theirs is type
Oh,
2.
They did a type 2 action.
So they didn't do any seeker.
Our project before you right now is unlisted. That's why we have to go through seeker.
I think, isn't the square, correct me if I'm wrong, the square footage is over 6,000, I think, for type 2.
No, we classified it already. It was unlisted.
No, we did, right, but, I mean, if they.
No, because they only issued a determination on the
for that. I see what you're
interpretation.
saying. Yes.
So
Not
they
for that.
only opined that on that interpretation and not anything else. They
Gotcha.
did not grant variances. They did not issue any other. So
For their purposes,
an
right.
interpretation, strictly an interpretation, is a type 2.
Right, gotcha.
So that was appropriate.
Yep.
Some of those things I did not know, you know, I'll take it into consideration. The owner's rep is here, you know, I think we can go back to him and talk to him about it. And based on the fact that the board is feeling that strongly about a special use permit, and it is within your purview to do so, you know, I think we do need to have some type of discussion and see what we can do.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be great. That'd be great.
We'll get those comments tomorrow.
I am not making any promises because of my schedule, but I will do my best. I had 2 meetings tonight, 6 applicants, and I have another meeting tomorrow night, so I will do my best to finalize this.
You got it. All right, everyone, have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays to everyone.
Yeah, have a great Christmas.
What time is it?
8:45.
What's that? Yes. Yeah, we're all here, so we gotta do it.
Gotta get through a bunch.
Yeah.
Minutes, while we're all here. You just gotta tell us who can vote and who can't. What's that? So I think we're back in May, right? 5/7?
Yeah, we had some, we didn't have enough people. So 5/27.
5/27. And
Kelly, Allen, and Heffernaker were absent.
What party were we at?
And why weren't we invited? Okay, Joe, don't leave, wait. Okay. We couldn't do it without you. Is Joe not in any of them? Did Joe miss any? Because then we'll just do that one.
Jeff, do you need me? I'm gonna grab Ron's ear off record, unless you need me for approval of minutes.
No. No.
I wasn't at that
No,
party.
she's just going to talk to Ron.
I'd like to get a head count of who's gonna be at the party so I can let Kim know.
I told
What
Kim.
day is
It's
it?
Friday.
1 to 4.
It's 1 to 4, so just,
Oh,
you gonna be there, Dave?
I'm gonna be there.
Oh, good.
I'll stop by.
That invite I did get.
I don't know if I can make it or not.
You're a maybe? You're a definite maybe, though.
If I'm coming, I'm coming with these pants up. Let me tell you. I guys remember like 3 or 4
If you come, we want the bagpipes, too.
They're being fixed in Canada right now.
Friday, like 1, right?
Yeah.
Nobody in America can do it?
1 to 4, so we'll just pop in, yeah.
That's the guy
I
that
can make
lives
it at
in
some
Mexico.
point. Yeah,
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Paul and Keith will be
Yeah, I'll be there.
We'll forget about that other party.
there. Yeah.
Barb, did you say you'll be there?
I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll stop by.
And Joe will be there.
It'll be okay.
Joe's gonna be there, too.
He is?
Yeah. And Marilyn, you gonna be there? No. You work for a living, right? Yeah. The rest of us, no, we don't. This is,
Can't take off, I've had too many crazy days. Like, snow.
okay, any Joe that wasn't in?
No.
Figures.
Joe's here.
No, Joe, absent.
All right, Joe's back.
What's the first one? 527?
527.
527.
And, yeah, so you 3 can't vote, so we need a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Barbara and Marilyn?
Except-
Second. And all in favor, Joe?
Joey, you, 5
All right, and
Yeah,
opposed?
aye. No.
Okay, they're in?
Page
Yeah, roll.
11,
You got roll.
and you were absent.
I
and
was.
Paul was absent.
Me and Paul.
Oh, we did these already. Oh, we couldn't do
We couldn't do them because
Yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah.
okay, so we need a motion
I'll
to,
make the motion.
for 811, Alan second, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, so 2 abstains, me and Paul. 9-8, but let's see who wasn't there.
Paul, Barbara.
Well, that was late. I
You are not making these meetings, this is like, what is going on?
I got here late on this one. I missed the roll call, but I was here for that one.
Who can't do it?
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
9-8?
Yeah.
Okay, so who pulled on for that? Okay, Barb, you can't vote.
Okay.
Paul, you can't vote, and Fred, you can't vote. So we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, Marilyn made the motion.
I'll second.
Alan second. All in favor?
Aye.
And 3 abstentions.
And
then
October
10-6.
6th, and everyone was here.
Need a motion.
I'll make it.
Second?
Fred, Barbara. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All right, guys, Merry Christmas.
We need a motion. No, we need a motion to adjourn. You can't leave until we adjourn.
Make that motion.
Okay? Fred made the motion to adjourn.
Okay, Marilyn.
Marilyn's in. All right. All in favor? Yes? Okay.
This is a late night.